What's up traders, welcome to Failure to Displace. In this video we're taking a look at this morning's live execution that I took in the London session on macro number 1. It's currently resulted in an epic 14R potential here. I closed out at 2R unfortunately, but we'll take a look at the analysis now and see what led to this entry and what we can learn from the session. Let's jump into the analysis now. So we are just coming into the macro now. I'm noting that we've got 15-minute SMT between this Asia high to this high that we've just put in London. We've been unable to take that high, so this is the high put in at 8:30 PM. Dixie has been unable to take this, whereas the euro has taken it, so this is bearish SMT. So the macro, first minute of the macro. Price is dropping, hasn't given us anything to enter on at the moment. Again, you can see the instant volume coming in. 233, we get instant volume. So points of interest if you're looking for longs. I mean, we've taken a 15-minute swing low here now into a 15-minute fair value gap. Been unable to take that low on the Dixie so far. That's the low on the Dixie, whereas we've taken it on the euro. So again, we've got bullish SMT at this point. Up to the 5. Now we've taken the low now. Optimal trade entry into this area here of this rundown. I'm bullish for the day on the euro. However, I didn't want to take longs in this premium area, so this drop works better for the daily bias because we can look for a long in a discount here. So this green shaded area is our 15-minute fair value gap. You can see a tiny bit of SMT developed here. Dixie did come to create these relative equal lows, whereas the euro was making higher lows. So this is bullish. However, obviously the fair value gap that we're monitoring is this. It will be quite a significant engulfing candle if you're going to take that. Still only a 3-pip stop. Breaking these lows on the Dixie, unable to on the euro. Oh, I've just passed it now. That's cancelled out that SMT. Our 15-minute swing low is down here. Optimal trade entry and this swing low for a potential sweep of liquidity. And you have this inversion fair value gap on the 15. Likewise, an inversion fair value gap on Dixie. Looks like it's being respected. So again, Dixie has taken a low Same as this, we've left a fair value gap here. So we want this to stay open, and then we want a large engulfing candle. We don't want this closing through, which is just closed through, so that kind of negates that. Okay, let's get a very large engulfing candle continuation through this. Then I would take that as a confirmation, even though there's no fair value gap on the euro. I would take it because we do have an inversion on the Dixie. So I'm looking for inversion fair value gaps on either of them at the moment. Again, monitoring this large inversion fair value gap on the 15-minute. So created a new low. This is SMT again. Eyes are on that fair value gap there. If we get a very large engulfing closure through that on the Dixie, I will take a long on the euro. Expecting the Dixie to drag the euro with it. And let's cancel that out. We're leaving a volume imbalance here now. Into optimal trade entry on the Dixie, whereas we're not into optimal trade entry on the euro. So the Dixie is dropping stronger. Again, this is an inverted chart on the Dixie. But the Dixie has hit optimal trade entry sooner than the euro has. There's an engulfing candle over an inversion gap on the Dixie. Taken a long here based on that covering that inversion gap. So I've entered there. I'll go break even as we sweep that high. So my break even is this low hanging fruit up here. Suar is up here. Dixie has not taken the low hanging fruit either. Low hanging fruit on the Dixie would be up here. So I'll swing high. Okay, so we can go break even at this point. We've passed the low hanging fruit on the euro, haven't yet on the Dixie, but this is break even now. Getting aggressive, we're expecting momentum through this fair value gap, so a quick rebalance of this up to our 2 hour, which takes us into the new week opening gap. The basis for going to break even so quick in the macros, you just expect instant volume, big large candles like this, so we just want a large candle driving through. Again, the basis for the trade is the fact that we had a large engulfing candle on the Dixie. So this is based off the Dixie covering over an inversion fair value gap, but that's an anticipation that the euro will follow because the Dixie wants to continue higher. So this is the volume imbalance that the Dixie is just dealing with at the moment. You look at this as a breaker. This is the highest up closing candle, so this is our breaker block. Put in a high, we'll put in a low, we've broke through that high. It's acting as our breaker block support. Creating bearish SMT at the moment. You can see the Dixie has broken this high. The euro has failed to break that high right now. Whereas we've gone through the high on the Dixie. It's not moving as we would expect in a macro. We would really want more volume, so I'm not convinced that this is the move. Oh, there we go. That was a nice reaction. So I would be tempted to pull my stop loss below this, slightly in profit now. Order block. Cover fees. Oh, there's our 2R. Lovely. So that's the 2R trade from this morning. Again, the entry was based on the fact that we were creating SMT here versus the euro. Although we had no inversion fair value gap on the euro, we did have an inversion fair value gap with a large engulfing candle on the Dixie. So I was anticipating that the Dixie would lead the price on the euro, which has worked out. And there's our 2R. Did have a bullish bias for the day, so we were waiting for price to come into a discount. I would have taken a short at the top here if it had presented itself, but I wasn't going to take a long inside this gap. We'll pull back into a discount 0.5 area, then add our SMT, engulfing candle on the Dixie as a signal to go higher, and then price is running. As I've mentioned previously, 2R does seem to sell things short. These often run to 4, 5, 6R, which this is now rocketing. Now we do have relative equal highs, obviously, as a potential target. But I'm out of the trade at 2R at this point. So that was the trade for the first macro. So we're back for the second macro of the London session. Relative equal highs on the 15. From yesterday into a previous new week opening gap, so that's the target. We've obviously had the move up through the first macro, which is playing out really, really well. Looking for a continuation to take out these highs. Again, you can see as soon as the macro opens, we're getting larger candles, so volume coming in. On the Dixie, we're kind of in this big stupid gap now, so I'm not sure what's happened with these wicks. Looking to fill that gap. We've got these crazy wicks from the Asia session, so I'm not sure what happened there, if that was just a data glitch or there was some actual price action doing that. But we do have this new day opening gap here, which I would expect to fill, which does line up with sweeping those relative equal highs on the euro. I've taken a fib from this swing low here up to the current high, so we'd want to be looking for a pullback into a discount. So we have an order block and a fair value gap at this area, so this would be kind of my point of interest, or my preference at least. For a trade long, after such a good trade from the first macro, I mean, that's running at 4. You know, this would be a 7R trade, already running at 6R. If we'd have left runners on that one, looks like this could just displace straight through to that target. We can also see drawing to the New York PM session macro again, which is a constant target in the London session. Previous New York PM session macros often get revisited, which just lines up perfectly with those equal highs as well, taking out the macro high. Okay, we've run the high. I'm not going to look to counter trend this because I am bullish on the day. Obviously the New York PM session high is a potential other target, but I'm not convinced. I would have wanted to see a pullback here before looking for a long. This is just continuing. I think this will be me done for the London session today. We had one great winning trade. Again, another indication that potentially leaving runners is the way forward instead of closing out at 2R, because say we're at 7R now. So trade management is an area that I need to work on this strategy. So this is just coming up to the end of macro number 2 now. We didn't get any entries in macro 2 because we had no pullback. Macro started as literally accelerated away from us, sweeping out the relative equal highs we highlighted at the open of the analysis. If we had left runners from our entry at the low of the London session, we'd be sitting at just over 14R right now. And so this is a good indication that potentially closing out in full at 2R might not be the best strategy. I'm seeing this consistently. Prices are running much further if you are in the right direction. And in this instance, in macro number 1 especially, we can catch the high or the low of the London session to ride out for the rest of the day. So this is an epic trade. Great entry from macro number 1, and nothing was provided to us in macro number 2 for us to potentially get in on this continuation. That's the London session for today. I hope you found the analysis useful. If you did, please leave the video a thumbs up, and if you've got any questions or comments, then please leave them down below. It's always great to hear from you guys. And if you're enjoying this kind of content and want to see more videos like this, then please do consider subscribing. It'd be fantastic to have you on board. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.